Why do they look at you? You feel it, don't you? Those stares, those lingering gazes, sometimes filled with admiration, other times tinged with something darker. You might brush it off or pretend not to notice, but deep down, you've always wondered, why me? Why can't they look away? Have you ever questioned why people react so strongly to your presence? Why some seem drawn to you, seeking your light, while others seem unsettled, even distant? This isn't coincidence, it's not random, and it's time you stopped ignoring it. What if I told you this magnetism, this undeniable energy you carry, is part of something much bigger? It's not just about you, it's about a divine purpose, one uniquely tied to your existence. That's right, there's something about you, something rare that God Himself placed within you to be noticed. But here's the urgent truth. You've spent too long doubting it, too long questioning your worth, hiding from your calling, or assuming this attention is meaningless. Let me be clear, it's not. You are meant to be seen. Think of a diamond. A diamond doesn't just sparkle, it transforms the space around it. No one can ignore its brilliance, and no one leaves unchanged by its light. That's you. You might not always feel like it, but your presence is powerful. It shifts atmospheres. It wakes people up. It inspires some and intimidates others. But do you know what's even more important? The impact you're meant to create with this light. You weren't made to blend in. God didn't place this energy within you just for you to keep it hidden. And yet, every moment you hesitate, every time you shrink back, you risk losing the chance to fulfill a purpose that only you can carry out. So let me ask you, are you ready to finally embrace it? To uncover why the world can't help but notice you? Because every second you delay, you're not just holding yourself back, you're holding back the transformation you are meant to bring to others. This isn't about ego, it's about alignment. When you understand the reason behind those gazes, when you accept your calling, everything changes. Your light isn't just for you, it's a beacon, a guide, a gift that's been waiting for this very moment. The world already sees it. Now it's your turn. Are you ready to step into what's been yours all along? There's something about you, isn't there? No matter how much you try to blend in, no matter how often you tell yourself you're just like everyone else, something inside you refuses to be ignored. Have you ever felt it? That pull? That presence? It's not your imagination, it's your light. This light isn't random and it isn't ordinary. It's a part of a divine plan, one that's been woven into your very being since the moment you were created. God placed it within you, not as a decoration, but as a purpose. And the longer you wait to embrace it, the more the world misses out on what only you can offer. Think of a lighthouse standing tall in the middle of a storm. Its beam cuts through the darkness, offering hope and direction to those lost at sea. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand attention, it simply shines. Have you ever felt like that? Like your presence alone, even in silence, has been a beacon for someone else's storm? But here's the thing, lighthouses don't hesitate to shine, and neither should you. So why do you? Why do you hide your light? Is it fear? Self-doubt? Or is it the belief that maybe your light isn't all that special? Let me stop you right there. It is special. It's not just about who you are, it's about the ripple effect of your existence. Your light isn't just for you. It's for the people you inspire, the lives you touch, the darkness you dispel. Let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you stopped hiding your light? If you stepped into every room knowing you were carrying something divine, something meant to change the atmosphere? Start small. Begin by recognizing the moments when you dim yourself. Is it in conversations where you hold back instead of speaking your truth? In opportunities you shy away from because you don't feel ready? Notice those patterns. They're not coincidences. They're signs of a battle between your light and the fear of being seen. And here's the truth you'd need to hear today. God didn't create you to blend in. He didn't give you this light just for you to bury it. You were made to stand out, to illuminate, to lead. When you dim yourself, you're not just holding yourself back, you're holding back the lives you were meant to touch, the purposes you were designed to fulfill. The longer you hesitate, the more people remain in darkness, waiting for what only you can offer. So stop apologizing for your light. Stop asking for permission to be who you were created to be. The world is already reacting to you. The question is, are you ready to react to yourself? To claim the gift, the purpose, the divine spark that's been waiting for you all along? Because here's the ultimate truth. Your light isn't about ego, it's about alignment. And once you embrace it, everything in your life will begin to shift. Are you ready to step into that? The world is waiting. Your light isn't ordinary, it's extraordinary. It doesn't just exist for you. It's a gift, a divine spark placed within you by God. This light isn't meant to go unnoticed. It's designed to illuminate the path for others, to call them out of darkness. But light always provokes a reaction. Have you noticed how people respond to you? Some are drawn in, captivated by your energy, inspired to become more. Others seem uneasy, as if your very presence challenges them. These reactions can be confusing. But let me tell you, they have little to do with you and everything to do with the divine purpose that your light represents. Think of the sun. Its warmth gives life. Its light reveals everything in its path, showing the beauty of the world, but also exposing what's been hidden. For some, that's a gift. For others, it's overwhelming. Your light functions the same way. Here's the hard truth. Not everyone is ready for what your light reveals. For those living in fear or denial, your presence can feel like a mirror reflecting what they're avoiding. That's why they may distance themselves or react negatively. And here's where you might start doubting yourself. Have you ever asked, what's wrong with me? Why do people seem uncomfortable around me? Let me be clear, there's nothing wrong with you. Their discomfort isn't about you, it's about what your light uncovers in them. But don't let this discourage you. Your light is not meant to be dimmed for the comfort of others. It was given to you by God for a purpose. This light isn't just yours, it's part of the divine purpose God has placed within you to illuminate the path for others. Some will recognize this light as hope, and they'll be inspired to walk closer to their own purpose. Others will feel the weight of their unfulfilled potential, and it will challenge them in ways they may not welcome. Either way, your light is doing what it's meant to do: awaken, inspire, and transform. But here's the challenge. Are you taking their reactions personally? When someone envies you or tries to bring you down, it's easy to think the problem is you. But envy doesn't arise from what you have. It comes from what they feel they're missing. When someone admires you, it's not because you're perfect. It's because your light reminds them of their potential. God didn't place this light in you to compete with others or to shy away from the reactions it creates. He placed it in you to fulfill a calling. Think about this. How many lives could be transformed if you embraced your light without hesitation? Your light isn't just a presence, it's a responsibility. It was given to you not to make people comfortable, but to challenge them, inspire them, and lead them closer to their own truth. So the next time someone reacts strongly to you, whether with admiration or resistance, remember this. You're not just being noticed, you're being used. Your light is working. The question now is simple. Will you step fully into this calling, or will you let fear hold you back? Being noticed isn't just a blessing, it's a responsibility. And let's face it, sometimes that responsibility feels heavy. Have you ever felt the pressure to always say the right thing, to always show up strong, or to meet expectations that others have placed on you? Or maybe it's the fear of failure, that if you stumble, everyone will see. What about the loneliness? The feeling that no one really understands what it's like to carry this light, to be looked at as someone who has it all together, while silently struggling with doubts and fears. When was the last time you felt overwhelmed by the pressure to be everything for everyone? Here's the truth. That weight you feel isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every challenge you face, every moment of pressure is shaping you into the person God designed you to be. Think about this. David didn't just wake up ready to defeat Goliath. Before that moment, he spent years in the fields, defending his sheep from lions and bears. Those battles were his training ground. Esther didn't instantly become a savior for her people. She first had to endure the fear and isolation of stepping into her calling. Every challenge you face is not just a burden, it's a training ground. God is using this weight to strengthen you, to build your resilience, and to prepare you to lead. The isolation, it's teaching you to depend on Him. The pressure, it's refining your character. The fear, it's an invitation to trust Him more deeply. But here's the beautiful part. Your light isn't just for you. Every time you keep going, despite the weight, you inspire others. There are people watching you, people who need your courage to find their own. How have you seen God equip you in moments when you felt unprepared? Think about that. Every time you felt like you couldn't handle the pressure, He showed up, didn't He? So don't let the weight stop you. Instead, let it remind you that you were chosen. Your light is a guide, a beacon for those waiting in the dark. Your light is not just for you, it's for the people who are waiting to be inspired by your courage, your resilience, and your faith. The question now is, will you let the weight break you? Or will you let it build you into who you were always meant to be? Your light isn't an accident. It isn't something you stumbled upon or something you created on your own. It's a gift, a part of God's divine plan for your life. You were placed here, with this light, for a reason that reaches far beyond what you may realize right now. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Take a moment and let those words sink in. You are the light of the world, not just for your family, not just for your friends, not just for your small corner of existence. God has called you to shine so brightly that your light reaches people you've never even met. But why? Why would God give you this light, this energy, this undeniable presence? The answer is simple. It's not for you, it's for others. It's for the brokenhearted who need hope, for the lost who need direction, and for those living in darkness who need a glimpse of something greater. Have you ever noticed how even the smallest light can break through the darkest room? Your light does the same. Every time you step into your calling, every time you choose to embrace who you are and live boldly, you're creating ripples that change the world around you. But here's the challenge. Are you using your light for its intended purpose? Sometimes we get caught up in our own fears and insecurities. We think, what if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? But remember, God didn't choose you because you're perfect. He chose you because He knew His strength would be made perfect in your weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Your light isn't just a reflection of who you are, it's a reflection of Him. It's meant to guide others back to Him, to remind them of His love, His power, and His grace. Every time you shine, you're fulfilling that purpose. But what happens when you hide your light? Think of a lighthouse refusing to shine during a storm. Think of a city built on a hill that tries to blend into the darkness. It wouldn't just be useless, it would be failing its very reason for existing. Don't let that be you. The world needs your light now more than ever. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Who is waiting on me to step into my calling? Whose life could be changed by my willingness to shine? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being faithful. It's about trusting that the light God placed in you is enough, not because of who you are, but because of who He is. You've been given this light for a reason. Now it's your time to step into that purpose, to let God use you in ways you never imagined. The world is watching, and more importantly, the world is waiting. Will you answer the call, or will you let this moment pass you by? Not everyone will celebrate your light. In fact, the brighter you shine, the more clearly you'll reveal the shadows around you. Envy often arises when your light highlights what others feel they lack. It's not about what you've done wrong, it's about what they see in themselves when they look at you. Have you ever noticed how some people seem uncomfortable in your presence? They might avoid you, criticize you, or even try to dim your light with their words or actions. It's painful, isn't it? But here's the truth. Their envy is not your burden to carry. Envy is a reflection of their own insecurities. Your success, your energy, and your presence don't take anything away from them, but their fear makes them believe otherwise. The enemy uses envy to divide, to discourage, and to make you question whether your light is worth shining at all. But hear this. Don't you dare let their shadows extinguish your flame. Think about the story of Joseph. He was given a dream by God, a vision of greatness, but his own brothers envied him. They threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and tried to erase the light they saw in him. But what they didn't realize was that Joseph's calling was divinely protected. No amount of envy could stop the plan God had for his life. The same is true for you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. When faced with envy, the temptation is to dim your light to make others comfortable. But let me remind you, your light isn't just for you. It's for those who need hope, who need to see what's possible. Hiding it doesn't protect you. It robs the world of what God placed in you. Here's a challenge for you. How can you transform envy into a catalyst for shining even brighter? Instead of shrinking back, let their resistance remind you of the importance of your calling. And remember, you're not shining to compete with anyone. You're shining to fulfill a purpose. The more you focus on that purpose, the less power envy will have over you. So when envy comes your way, and it will, choose to shine brighter. Your light isn't here to please everyone. It's here to illuminate the path God has set before you. While some may resist your light, others will be captivated by it. Admiration is one of the clearest signs that your presence is making an impact. Have you noticed how people are drawn to you, inspired by the way you carry yourself, or by the courage you show in simply being who you are? That admiration isn't random. It's proof of the value you bring to the world. When someone admires you, it's not just about what they see in you. It's about what your light awakens in them. Like flowers turning toward the sun, people naturally gravitate towards those who inspire growth. Your light has the power to remind others of what's possible for their own lives. But here's where it gets real. Admiration isn't always easy to handle. It can feel like pressure, like an expectation to always be on, always worthy of the pedestal others place you on. You might even feel undeserving, questioning why they look up to you. Let me remind you, this isn't about perfection. The people who admire you aren't looking for someone flawless. They're looking for someone real, someone who reminds them that even with imperfections, greatness is still possible. Think of Jesus' words, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." Matthew 5:16. Your light isn't just about you, it points back to the God who placed it in you. When people admire your strength, your kindness, your resilience, it's an opportunity for them to see the divine working through you. But here's the challenge. What will you do with that admiration? Will you let it inflate your ego, or will you let it remind you of your responsibility? Every person who admires you is a life you have the potential to influence. Their respect for you is an open door to inspire, to guide, and to lead them closer to their own purpose. So let me ask you, how will you use the influence you've been given? Will you shy away from it, afraid of the responsibility, or will you step into it with faith, trusting that God has equipped you for this moment? The admiration you receive isn't about elevating you, it's about amplifying the impact of the light God placed within you. Don't take it lightly. Use it to change lives. Every journey has a turning point, a moment when you decide who you are and how you'll live. For you, that moment is now. This is where you choose whether to fully embrace the light God has placed in you or to let fear and doubt hold you back. Your light isn't just a small part of who you are. It's your identity. It's woven into your very being, designed to shine in ways no one else can replicate. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. That's you. God didn't create you to live in the shadows, apologizing for the gifts He gave you. He created you to stand out, to illuminate, to transform the world around you. But here's the truth. The decision to shine isn't easy. It means stepping into the unknown, embracing vulnerability, and trusting that God will equip you for what lies ahead. It means accepting that not everyone will understand or support your journey. Yet, it also means something greater. It means walking in alignment with your divine purpose. It means becoming the person you were always meant to be. And most importantly, it means allowing God's light to flow through you, touching lives in ways you may never even see. Let me ask you, what will your life look like if you fully embrace your light? Imagine no longer holding back, no longer hesitating, but boldly stepping into every moment with confidence and faith. Imagine the lives you could impact, the hope you could bring, and the legacy you could leave behind. But it starts with a choice. Your choice. When you choose to embrace your light, you're saying yes to the calling God placed on your life. You're saying yes to being a beacon of hope in a world that desperately needs it. You're saying yes to the transformation waiting for you and for those you'll inspire along the way. So here's your challenge. Stop hiding, stop doubting, start shining. This is your moment. Your light isn't just for you. It's for every person waiting to be inspired, for every life waiting to be changed. The world is watching and God is calling. Are you ready to step into the fullness of who you were created to be? Because when you embrace your light, you don't just change your life, you illuminate the way for countless others. Now, go, shine, and never forget, your light is your greatest gift, your deepest purpose, and your lasting legacy. The time is now. The choice is yours.